3154. Do you want out of your house for whatever reason? Maybe you're moving or downsizing, there are financial issues, maybe you inherited it.
Selling a home usually means hours of painting and cleaning and staging. But what if you could sell your home for a fair price without any of that hassle? The buyer never had to walk through your home. You could sell it without an appraisal, no commissions, no fees.
What if you could get paid in cash and get it done fast, like in 10 days or less? This is exactly what directbuyers.com will do.
Directbuyers.com is a local family-owned business. They've been around since the mid-'80s. We've talked with the owners, Janet and Matt. Wonderful people. They care about their clients.
You don't want to go to a national call center. These are the people we trust. Do not sell your home until you talk to directbuyers.com. See what they can offer you. They will give you an honest, no-obligation offer. They can even get you $15,000 cash advance before closing to help with your move.
They're not going to lowball you. Go to directbuyers.com. Directbuyers.com. 844-242-SELL. That's 844-242-SELL. Directbuyers.com.
Kfi Am 640.
The evil queen is the first very versatile to attack. The horse queen.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You are home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on the program. We are having a conversation today about little things that pop up in the midst of your DIY project that you realize, you know what, I'm not exactly sure how this works. Not the overall project or the instructions, but tiny little skills and techniques. For instance, how tight is tight enough for a pipe fitting? Things like that. Things that you realize, I don't have the experience to know this. I don't know this by heart. I don't know it by experience. What do I do? So those are the kinds of things that we're addressing today. Little things that are often forgotten and rarely in basic. Now, one of those things is the use of silicone thread tape. Or I kept saying silicone. Teflon thread tape, sorry. Teflon thread tape for a pipe fit. What kind of tape you use is important. And the thickness of the width of the tape is important. And the application of the tape is important. I promised I would go through it with you, so here we go, right? There are three kinds of tape now that you will find at the hardware store in the plumbing department. When it comes to Teflon tape, you will find white tape, you will find yellow tape, and you will find gray tape. White tape is for water pipe fitting. Water. White or water. Okay? Yellow tape has a different consistency, slightly thicker, and it is specifically for gas line connections. Okay, natural gas connections. Do not use them on gas line connections. It's not thick enough. And the gas itself has certain compounds in it that react with the white tape. The yellow tape is designed to resist. So there you go. The gray tape is kind of the universal tape. Now, some people don't go for it because, number one, they don't understand what's even there for. And secondly, it's a little bit thicker to work with, but it can go in both applications. For half-inch size pipe, which is typical for most households, whether it be gas lines or water lines, half-inch size pipe, you'll buy the standard tape, which is about a half an inch wide. Okay. For larger pipes, like 3/4 inch pipe, you'll buy 3/4 inch wide tape. Okay. Now, I had mentioned before that one of the clues about how tight to get a fitting when you're putting two pipes together is to cover over the thread tape completely. So if you start at the end of the thread, the end of the pipe, and you wrap your half-inch pipe tape right there, and you don't need to go up the pipe, okay, just right there on the end, its own width on the end. Then, by the time you get that fitting on, if you've covered over the thread tape, for the most part, you are pretty much guaranteed that you've got a good seal there, all right? The last thing you need to know, how many wraps of that tape, you know, I've seen people try and put like 15 wraps on because we're going to make this a really good fitting. Okay, that doesn't work, okay? Oh, and I've also seen people go around once. Also, not enough. How many racks? Guesses? Between 3 and at the most 5 racks. 3 times around to 5 times around. Normally, I just kind of go 4 times around. And ready to go. The reason is that you need enough thread to tape there to make the seal when the threads go on. But also, critically important, there has to be a low enough level that the other threads will actually go over it, not just push it out of the way because it's so thick. Does that make sense? You put on a nice thick bunch of tape at the end, too thick. The thread, the fitting is just going to push it out of the way, not actually encapsulate it and run over that tape. So let's just say, for the sake of argument today, 4 wraps around the pipe will get you going. And here's the most important part of application, and that is that you wrap the tape in the direction that the fitting is going to spin on. In other words, almost in every circumstance, if you're dealing with some bizarre reverse threaded situation, you're going to be wrapping the thread tape on clockwise. As you look at the end of the pipe, you're going to wrap it clockwise, okay? Some people say lefty and righty. I don't do that because depending on whether you're looking at the top or the bottom of the pipe, that's two different directions. I'm just going to say that you look at the end of the pipe clockwise because the fitting is going to go on clockwise. So what happens is as the fitting goes on, it rolls over the tape in the direction that it's been rolled on, and it spreads it out nicely, like a butter, on a piece of toast. If you put the fitting on counterclockwise, and then you put the fitting on clockwise, it's actually going to cause the tape to bunch up. It's actually unwrapping the tape, or trying to, as it's going on the pipe. So there you go. 1/2 inch Teflon tape. White for water, yellow for gas, gray is universal. 4 wraps, let's just say 4 wraps around the pipe, right on the end. Don't go all the way up the thread, there's no point. And then wrap it on clockwise. See how easy that is? It is. I'm going to one more time, and then we're going to go to the phone. The number reads me, 833-2, ask Dean. 833, the number 2, ask Dean. Let's jump to the phone, shall we? Let's talk to Martin. Hey, Martin. Welcome home.
My sister, in her 70s,
In Castle.
you think that you should have to stop.
Strange world.
And I'm actually trying to help her what I should do in terms of working with her on the changes. Sort of moving. Can you give me any direction on this?
Okay, so the first thing is, asbestos siding is a thing. It has happened. It's not very common, my friend. Hey, do you know how old the house is? How old the siding is?
We were seeing her 70s. So I think the average has been really good.
I'm sorry, what was that again? You think you've had a house?
I think after she's like 70 years old, and she's had it after a long time.
Okay. So the thing is, asbestos cement siding, that's really what it is. And the first thing you know is it's really old siding, and if it feels cemented. In other words, if it feels like brittle, like cement. It's not vinyl, and it's definitely not wood, okay? When you tap on asbestos cement siding, it's going to produce a sharp sound, like you're tapping on like a ceramic tile. They kind of have the same consistency of tapping on ceramic tile. It was a big thing in the 1940s, from the 40s to the 1960s. Why? Because asbestos is so dang durable, having asbestos fibers inside it, and extremely fireproof, right? There are pros and cons to having it, and I want to do it justice, because you're right. I didn't actually address this, and it's a good thing for us to talk about, because some homes have asbestos siding on them. So, Martin, my friend, if you will hang on for just a couple of minutes, we're going to go to break. When we come back, I I'm going to explain to you the basics of asbestos-siding and what your options are so that you know how to proceed. How does that sound?
Great, thank you.
All right, you hang tight. Everybody, hang tight. We'll talk about asbestos-siding when we return. You are home. Dean Sharp, the houses for Brian Brewer. Well, people who ride Metro and have a tap card can get a 50% discount on tickets to the Super Bowl experience at the LA Convention Center next weekend. Authorities in Cameroon say a soccer stadium crush that killed 8 people was because a huge number of ticketless fans forced their way into the stadium. And the Port of LA is collecting fines again for containers sitting there too long, saying that the backlog of ships and containers continues to improve. And we'll have a look at some trouble on the 60s next. Hey, do you need a new major appliance? Well, you're going to have a little bit of a problem here in 2022. Why? Serious COVID supply chain delays. I know, but it's the truth. And price increases. So, some brands have gone up over 2%, and you could be waiting, you probably will be waiting as much as 8 months or more for delivery. That is the problem. Here is the solution. Shop for your appliances where Tina and I do for our clients. WBC Kitchen and Bath Center. WBC saw this coming, and they secured $25 million of inventory before the recent price jump, before the supply line. So right now, with high prices and delays everywhere else, WBC is having a winter appliance sale, as if nothing is happening, with up to 35% off select brands. Free delivery for purchases over $5.99. Next day delivery to LA, Ventura, and Santa Barbara County. And you can check inventory in real time right on the WDC website. It's that easy. In times like these, you need more than just an appliance store. You need the experts that I have trusted for years at WDC. To find the WDC nearest you, go to WDCappliances.com, WDCappliances.com. If you're a valued customer, you deserve a simple gesture of appreciation from your credit card company. And that's why Discover matches all of the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply. From the H&S Capital Weather Center, there's a wind advisory until noon in Santa Clarita Valley and the LA County Mountains. This report brought to you by Discover. And we're looking at a crash on the 60.
In East LA on the westbound side of the 60 at Indiana Street. Crash now taking away the 2 left lanes. It's saying at least an hour on this closure. And that's actually getting back to 4 Downing Road. That's in addition to the problem downtown LA, the one way northbound between Business and Spring. All lanes shut down for a fatal crash investigation. We'll be back up starting at 10. You can take your 110 or take a Chavez instead. And Corona, westbound side of the 91 before Green River at the track there in the 3 left lane. It's causing heavy delays back toward the 71. The RD 91 west also shut down from Corona from the 15 to Main Street East outside until Monday morning. KFI in the sky helps us get faster. I'm Robert Bucky.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new hot and crispy fries. Right now at Wendy's, see why everyone is raving about their brand new fries. Natural cut, skin on with a hint of sea salt, and guaranteed to be hot and crispy or they'll replace you. You know, the way fries should be. Try Wendy's guaranteed hot and crispy fries today at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Let's see here. Good times for mac and cheese, with a Wahlburger in there, yellow for a steak, gotta grab a boba from Mosin, pink coffee for dessert. Yep, that settles it. Can't start my diet until 2023. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Big Game Blitz. Watch the big game on big screens in the ballroom. Food, drink, and giveaways included. Get tickets now.
Number 4.
Celebrate the Lunar New Year with us. Book your bid now before we sell out at MorongoCasinoResort.com.
3.
Genuine, live February 4th. Get your tickets today.
And the number 2.
Big Game Blowout. For every touchdown, fumble, field goal, sack, or interception, a rewards member will win up to $1,000 cash.
And the number 1 reason.
Game day stay. Get a room and 2 tickets to the Big Game Blitz for one low price. Call 888-MORONGO.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good time.
Make this the winter of you with Audible. Listen to the best of what you love, from comedy to wellness to the latest bestsellers. Find it all at Audible with audiobooks, exclusive originals, and popular podcasts. Start listening free when you sign up at audible.com.
Hey y'all, it is Dean Sharp. You might not think about your water heater very often, but you're certainly going to think about it if it's not working. Because there's nothing worse than getting ready to relax in a hot shower and then stepping into an ice cold one. If that is you, then you need to call Water Heaters Only. Water Heaters Only has been replacing water heaters and getting the job done right since 1968. And when you need a new water heater, they're the only ones you need to call because they're honest, they're reliable, and they know everything there is to know about water heaters. Water Heaters Only also offer same-day service, the best products, the lowest prices, and for a limited time, you can get 0% deferred interest financing. So call the company that does Water Heaters Only. Visit waterheatersonly.com, get a new water heater with 0 interest. Terms and conditions apply. That's waterheatersonly.com, waterheatersonly.com.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
We all have our favorite podcast. We listen day and night. Now, iHeartRadio is celebrating the best in podcasting. Our 2022 iHeartRadio Podcast Awards are coming this Thursday. Join Will Ferrell, Jenna Fisher, and Angela Kinsey, Bowen Yang, Martha Stewart, Paris Hilton, Bethany Frankel, Wilmer Valderrama, and many more as we honor the brilliant storytelling and inspiring conversations behind the podcasting explosion. So wonderful. Watch live exclusively on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. And listen on iHeartRadio Thursday night at 9.
To rest on your shoulders. Sometimes life seems like it's filled only with confusion and chaos. But I assure you, I have a plan for you.
The Jesus Christ Show. Tomorrow morning at 6 on Kfi
AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
KFI. Dean Sharp, the house whisperer. Welcome home on this, well, we're out where we are. It's pretty gusty, blustery. I don't know that it's everywhere in Southern California. Well, just welcome to another morning in Southern California.
Now, don't you?
Lots of places in the country having far worse weather than we are, to be sure. All right. We are having a conversation today about often forgotten, rarely explained little basic techniques that pop up in the middle of a DIY project that you realize once you're right in the midst of it, nobody ever explained this part to me. I've got a list of those and we're kind of moving through them. But right now, we are talking to you about what's going on with your home, and we are on the phones. And let's go back to Martin. Martin, you still with me, buddy?
Yes, I am.
All right, so Martin, it's your sister who's got the siding. It's your sister has got siding. It's an older home, a much older home, and there's a concern that we've got asbestos concrete siding on the outside of the house.
Right.
Okay, so
Not sure what to do.
okay, so here is the thing, my friend, when it comes to asbestos concrete siding. And by the way, folks, if you've got a very rigid, very brittle siding on the outside of a house that's built anytime after, let's say, the mid to late 1920s in Southern California, all the way up to through the 60s, then there is a possibility that there is asbestos content in the siding. Now, first of all, to alleviate all doubt, you could, in fact, snap off a little piece of that siding or find a broken piece and get it tested, or call somebody out to do the testing of the asbestos siding, just to verify that that's the case, because there is non-asbestos concrete siding out there. So, number one, get it tested. It's going to cost you a little bit of money to get it tested, but then you're going to know. Secondly,
Okay.
very, very, very much like the inside of a house, usually the easiest way to deal with asbestos siding is A, leave it alone, because it doesn't pose any health risk to anybody if it just sits there, okay? It's when it gets cut or snapped or disturbed, just like asbestos inside the house. Asbestos is not a problem. It's not a danger to human beings until the powder, the dust from asbestos gets airborne and we breathe it in. And obviously inside a house, far more serious than outside, because outside the wind, the air, it dissipates it. But just sitting there, the house is not oozing asbestos for people to deal with as they walk around the house. If your sister walks around the outside of her house, she's not inhaling asbestos from a house that's just sitting there. It's when it gets disturbed. So definitely rule number one is, if you know you've got asbestos siding, no cutting, no breaking, no tearing it off or anything like that to disturb it, okay? And it can just stay that way. And yeah, you keep it painted well, and you're definitely not concerned about it, even if somebody leans up against it, okay? It is not a threat when it's in good condition and it is intact on the house. However, cutting it, disturbing it, cracking it, that kind of stuff, that is a serious health concern at that point. So, what do you do with it? Well, abating it, getting it off there, is even more involved than abating asbestos from inside the house, which is most of the time why it's not done, okay? Because it's just an elaborate process, and you can't do it, and a regular contractor, a general contractor can't do it. It has to be a certified asbestos abatement contractor, and it's involved, and it's expensive, which is why, just like inside the house, what most people and most builders opt to do is encapsulate it, meaning that we will take that siding, leave it in place, and if you want to re-side the house, we're going to put new siding on top of it, over it. Because once it is locked into the wall, once it is a layer down inside where no one can get to it, then it is completely safe from everyone. So if the house needs new siding, if it needs siding repair, and you're thinking about doing that for your sister, or your sister's pondering it, then you can always have siding installed on top of the asbestos siding. The nice thing in that regard is that it's very, very thin stuff, and it's very low profile, so it's not like it's a big chunky siding that makes it difficult to put new siding on top of it. It's relatively easy to do. Does that make sense, my friend?
Yeah, leak. Can that be a concern, leak?
What was that? Leak?
The leak?
No, not likely a concern, and I'm guessing by now that whatever roof she's got up there was installed, after the 1970s, and anything after 1973, 1975 does not have an asbestos content in it, because that was the year that we started banning it here in Southern California. I think nationwide, if I'm not mistaken. Martin, thank you for calling, my friend, and good luck on that. But now you know what your options are when it comes to asbestos siding. It's very much similar to what your options are inside the house. Encapsulation, usually the best and least expensive means. Let's try and fit one more in. Christina.
Good morning,
Welcome home.
James.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call. I have demons in my wall when I flush the toilet. It's like banging.
Oh.
It's so scary. It's really weird because it travels throughout. It's behind the toilet, and also it travels to where I'm assuming where the general pipe system is under the house.
Right. All right, Christina, hang on. I'm going to get ready. We're going to exercise the demons. Here's what you need to do. And it's not very complex. You have water hammer, okay? What causes water hammer? We know what causes it, but can we predict it in any plumbing system in any house? No, we cannot. Sometimes it happens on the first day of the new build. Sometimes it happens when we replace an appliance, or a fixture, like a toilet, or a faucet. We're like, what is it? What we know is that water hammer is a bizarre situation in which water is cavitating strangely through a pipe, and sometimes all it takes is a different kind of fixture with a slightly different flow rate or uptake rate, and boom, all of a sudden, it's like your plumbing system is essentially, consider it like a musical instrument, like a flute, and if the water changes the way it flows through that pipe, even a little bit, suddenly it can start, amplifying the sound. The good news is there is a device. It's called a water hammer arrestor. It's basically a shock absorber for cavitation inside your pipe. It's sitting on the shelf at the hardware store, at the plumbing supply shop, or the big box center in the plumbing department. They cost about, I'm just going to be safe and say they cost about $20 a water hammer arrestor. Now, you may be able to install it yourself if you're a DIY-ish person. Otherwise, you get a plumber out there and they'll have it popped in about a half an hour. Once you've got a hammer arrestor near where the location of the knocking occurs, the knocking will stop because that cavitation that wants to echo itself all the way through all of your pipes will be absorbed by the spring-loaded device inside the water arrestor. And, like I said, it's nobody's fault. There's absolutely no way for us to know ahead of time, even on a brand new plumbing system. Even though, granted, with PEX systems and so on, with the fewer 90-degree turns that water has to go through in your plumbing system, the less likely it is that you're going to have water hammer. I'll put it that way. But there's just no way of predicting it. And whenever it happens, then we install an arrestor or two, and boom, magically, the problem goes away. So there you go, Christina. That is how you're going to get the demons out of your house. Thank you. And thank you for posing that question in such a creative and illustrative way. All right, y'all, when we come back, we will dive back into how much, how many rarely explained basics that you're going to run into as you work on your house, your home, with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, on KFI.
KFI now looks forward to the year ahead. Future predictions for the year 2022. Face mask tattoos will be quickly banned, but will remain as a fashion statement for several decades. And the new COVID variant is found to regrow hair and improve vocabulary. But you also bleed out of your toes.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.
Pumping the brakes and racing. I'm Brian Bruman, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A California senator says he wants to use the full weight of the state to crack down on street racing.
State Democrat Henry Stern says he's introducing a bill that would give more money and resources to help stop street takeovers and reckless driving.
It's going to bollards and street tables, but also to actual personnel and to cars, and to improve that. So that's one piece of it. And then the other piece is actually about the enforcement side.
Stern says he's also willing to add language that would override local DAs who refuse to prosecute these crimes and use the state DOJ to prosecute. In the Steve Gregory, KFI News.
One person has been killed in a party bus crash in downtown LA. The CHP says the crash happened just before 3 this morning on the 101 freeway. One person on the party bus was ejected in the crash and died. The FBI is offering surveillance for info leading to the arrest of a bank robber dubbed the Green Gator Bandit.
15 bank robberies in LA and Orange counties since October have now been linked to the guy. The most
wearing a green camouflage type gator.
FBI LA spokeswoman Laura Imler says the Fed first started naming robbers,
especially back in the 90s when we were having thousands of bank robberies every year. In fact, in 1992, we had over 2,600 bank robberies in the Southern California area we cover.
She says the Green Gator Bandit is simply unarmed and uses a note or verbal demand for cash, and he gets away on foot. In Fullerton, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
The East Coast is dealing with a big winter storm. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee is prohibiting cars from being on the roads until 8 tonight.
It could be the single most inches in the state's history. In fact, it comes through as it's projected.
Governor McKee said the weather event is serious and could produce snowfall up to 2 feet, which would be the single biggest snowdrop in the state's history. More military health experts are being sent out to help hospitals that are struggling because of the COVID-19 surge.
More than 100 military doctors, nurses, and respiratory technicians heading to hospitals in 5 states, still overwhelmed with critical care COVID patients.
ABC's Andy Field says the military healthcare workers will be going to Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, and Ohio. Around 700 military workers have already been sent out to help hospitals across the country. But COVID-19 cases are going down across the U.S. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's optimistic that things are getting better.
It may have some transmission advantage, and over the original Omicron doesn't appear to be any more serious in the sense of severity of disease.
Fauci says the majority of cases across the nation are Omicron. He says the new Omicron,
Dude,
BA2, doesn't appear to be any more severe. Young Mitchell is removing her music from Spotify to support Neil Young. Mitchell says irresponsible people are spreading lies that are costing people their lives. This comes after Young demanded Spotify remove his music in protest for the platform streaming Joe Rogan's podcast. Young says Spotify helped spread fake information about vaccines, potentially causing death. Spotify has started removing Young's music, but there's no word on when or if Mitchell's music will be removed. And Metrolink riders will be able to ride for free on February 4th. That day is known as Transit Equity Day and marks the birthday of Rosa Parks. The day honors the civil rights activist for resisting bus segregation and refusing to give up her seat. On February 4th, Metrolink will allow riders to board any train without a ticket. And we are looking at a crash on the 101.
At downtown LA, it's the 101 northbound Big Mixer Spring Highway's main shutdown for the state of crash investigation. That's actually jam-packed on car through. It takes the entire 110 freeway instead. In East LA, 60 west on the Street. Left lane shut down back up heading to 4 Downing Road. And in Brea, North
347, all back traffic.
2 left lanes closed by Caltech, Solvalou, News, Slow by Friday, Imperial Highway. All lanes shut down in Corona as well. 91 westbound from 15 to News. Caltech with all weekend on Boulevard. 5 o'clock Monday morning. Kfi Am the Sky has to get you there faster.
Cash call mortgage is a DBA of Intact Mortgage Corp. NMLS ID 128231. Not all applicants will qualify. Equal housing lender. Licensed by California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Residential mortgage lending application 4131083. Not licensed in all states including New York. Equal pass 6579910 for licensing terms and restrictions. Or visit cashcallmortgage.com.
Are you being denied a home loan or refi because you're a 1099 employee, self-employed, or a real estate investor? It can be frustrating, but it doesn't have to be. Thanks to Kfi Mortgage. At Kfi Mortgage, we'll take the time to understand you and your income source, using 1099 income, rental income, and bank statements. You could qualify for a home mortgage or refi at a lower rate. So if you're being turned down for a home loan or refi because you're self-employed, a 1099 owner, or a real estate investor, instead of hearing denied, you could be hearing approved. To see if you qualify, visit cashflowmortgage.com or call now 800-838-3154. That's 800-838-3154. 800-838-3154.
Justin Weather from KFI, cloudy skies and a wind advisory until noon in San Clear Valley and California Mountains. Higher winds closer to the coast, mid-60s to low 70s at the beaches, low 70s in Metro LA and OC, mid-60s to low 70s in Union Valley, and mid-60s to low 70s. Sunny tomorrow and a little bit warmer. 55 in San Clemente, 55 in Brea, 52 in Sherman Oaks, and 46 in Pasadena. We lead local, live from KFI, 24-hour news. I'm Brian Boone.
And we are back. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. You are home with Dean Sharp, the house whisperer, custom home builder, custom home designer, here with you live like I am every weekend. Saturdays from 6 to 8, Sundays from 9 to 11. Welcome to the second hour of our fine program. It's just a few minutes past 7 a.m. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is an interesting sounding show. 7 a.m., that's a little early. No, it's not, my friend. Show's half over. We started at 6.
Fine if you slept in. I'm just glad you're here with us now. What are we all about? I'm just here to help. That's what we're about. I'm here to be an advocate for you as you wrestle with construction issues on your home, a design mentor for you as you build yourself a more beautiful home, a more beautiful life, do it more affordably, and up to it than you ever imagined. Today, very able-tactical day. I'm going through a list that we've formed up of understanding It's an often forgotten and rarely explained basics that you might run into as you're doing a DIY home project. Sort of how to do this, how much, how many, these kinds of little projects around the house. And not the project itself, but the techniques inside the project that once your hands are buried in it, you realize, nobody ever told me exactly how to execute this phase. So we're going through this. We've been talking about threading pipes. How do you get them tight enough? How do you wrap them, seal them with thread tape appropriately? I'm going to stay on the pipe thing for just a couple more minutes here. How much glue, when you're gluing together, not threads now, gluing together, plastic pipes, whether it's ABS pipe, that's black plastic pipe that's used now for sewer lines, or drains in your home, and for waste vents or stacks, vents that go up to the roof. Black ABS pipe. How much glue do you put on that sucker? And do you turn it after glue? What do? Do you just shove the fitting in and wait for it? How long do you have to wait? And also, when I say plastic pipe, I'm talking about PVC, white PVC pipe that may be for water lines or sprinkler lines or what have you. Here we go. Are you ready? You're going to put glue on both the fitting, that is the female end, and the pipe end, the male end of the pipe. The glue that you're going to get needs to be specialized for that particular pipe. It's not just any old glue. It's putting together ABS pipe, it's ABS glue. Putting together PVC pipe, it's PVC glue. Okay? Now let me deal with ABS first because it's a little simpler. It's just glue. That's it. ABS glue. It's black. Please don't get it on your hands, or it won't come off for several days, or anything else for that matter. So wear gloves. Wear some rubber or plastic gloves when you're doing this. Again, you're going to unscrew the lid on the top of the can if you can get it unscrewed. You might have to use literally a pair of pliers because these are not tight on the back. And inside, attached to the lid of the can, you're going to find a wire rod going down to a little spherical brush. You're going to get that brush with some glue on it in the can, and you're going to wipe it around the inside of the fitting. How many times? How much of it? Just one good coat. Okay? Just one good coat so you have an uninterrupted band. You don't have to do the whole depth of the fitting. Just inside the edge. One good coat so there's an uninterrupted band of glue. This is the critical term, uninterrupted band. And then you set that aside and you're going to do the same at the very end of the pipe, an uninterrupted band of glue. That's it. That's all you need. You're going to put these two suckers together, and what you should find, if you've done enough, if there is enough glue on the fitting, what you should find is that there is some glue that has come out right on the rim of the fitting. If it's dripping, you're using too much. If you put the pipe fitting and the pipe together and you see no glue at all, then you're probably not using enough. In fact, I would say you're not using enough. You're going to connect this fitting together and you're going to give it a quarter turn once it's connected. That's to just ensure that you're getting any air bubbles out and you're spreading the glue so that it's contacting itself, and there you go. Pipe glue in this kind of world is an interesting kind of glue. It doesn't so much glue the pipe as it melts one piece onto another. It's not normal glue. That's why it's not good for anything else. And regular glue is definitely not what you want to use. You want a pipe glue, plastic pipe glue. It, without getting into the chemistry of it, essentially melts one piece of pipe to the other, and that's what makes such a good contact. But you want that little bead of squeeze out on the end of the fitting, all the way around, again, uninterrupted, and then you've used just enough. It takes a little practice. Now, when it comes to PVC, everything I just said about ABS pipe, the black pipe, applies to PVC. One coat on the inside of PVC fitting, one coat around the end of the male end of the pipe, okay? Then you're going to connect them together and a quarter turn, and you should see a little glue coming out. But here is the thing with PVC pipes. Two things. Number one, a high-pressure PVC fitting requires high-pressure PVC glue. And there's a lot of PVC glue out there that is designed to connect PVC pipes, but not under pressure, and it will say it. on the bottom, okay? If you're going to putting together sprinkler lines or any kind of high-pressure water line having to do with the house, that is not the stuff you want to get. That stuff only holds the pipe together for unpressurized circumstances, like it's just draining or dribbling water out, something like that. High-pressure PVC requires high-pressure glue, and high-pressure glue, when it comes to PVC, always requires the first step, which is a solvent, okay? It's usually what we call a primer. It's usually purple in color. The most popular one from Odie is purple in color. Again, don't get this stuff on your skin, otherwise it's not coming off for a while. But you're going to wipe the pipe down. First, keep it clean and wipe it with the solvent first. That's going to open up the porosity of the pipe. And then, after the solvent wipe in the pipe and the fitting, then you do what I said about the glue. Add the glue to the pipe, the fitting, put them together, quarter turn, watch it ooze out the end, boom. Bob's your uncle. That is how plastic pipes are fitted together. And now you know what to look for. You're not guessing. So if you don't see that glue ooze out of the end of the fitting just a bit, you're not using enough. If it's dripping all over the place, it's going to be a fine connection. But you're wasting stuff and you're using too much glue. All right, more gems when we return. I'm so glad you joined me this morning. You are listening to Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, Brian Baruma. Well, the city of LA is accepting applications from people ages 16 to 25 for its new youth council. A retired Venezuelan Army general says the CIA and high-level U.S. government officials were fully aware of his attempt to remove Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And police in Laos say they've seized more than 36 million meth pills near the border of Myanmar and Thailand. We'll have a look at some trouble on the 60 next. You ever got one of those letters from the water company that says high usage, all in red caps? You know, it kind of bugs you, right? And you think, okay, what can we do about this? So you tell your daughter, stop washing your new car 3 times a week, or you tell your son, cool it with a 45-minute shower. What's going on in there? I don't even want to talk about it. Here's the thing. It's more frustrating when you do that, and then next month, another notice comes, high usage. Guess what? That might mean you have a leak. That is when you call the water boy. Southern California's high leak detection experts. The water boy finds leaks. They do it quickly, non-destructively, meaning they're not going to tear anything up in your house. They're going to use state-of-the-art equipment that allows them to visually and acoustically inspect your pipe. They will find everything from a failing toilet to a burst pipe in your slab that you didn't even know was there. So, if you suspect that you might have a leak, don't wait for it to get worse. Reach out to the leak experts trusted by property managers, realtors, homeowners. And call them today at 818-518-5050. 818-518-5050. Or visit thewaterboy.com. We're looking at a crash on the 60.
In East LA, the 60 west side of Indiana Street, this type has the 2 left lanes shut down. It's got the jammed back to down the road. Some good news downtown LA, the one in north on the Dignity. We have a crash investigation ongoing. They just wrapped that up. All lanes open now. The driver covering well through the area. Corona 91 westbound from 15 to Main Street. All lanes shut down by Caltrans until Monday morning around 5 o'clock between the lake from McKinley. You can take Magnolia, which becomes 6th Street, runs alongside the freeway there, or you can call it take the 60 west instead. KFI in the sky helps us fare faster.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast, now with a free drink with any breakfast sandwich purchase. Get a better breakfast at Wendy's. Buy any breakfast sandwich and get any size drink in a Wendy's cup free. Hot coffee, Diet Coke, or vanilla frappuccino? Yes, free. Get your free drink when you buy a Wendy's breakfast sandwich today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast, now with a free drink with any breakfast sandwich purchase.
This is a crime alert from James Finch, former Assistant Director of the FBI's Cyber Crimes Division. Your home's title is the only document that proves you own your home. And now, cyber criminals are able to forge our names off our home's title and claim they own it. It's a nightmare crime. Watch a video of a former cyber thief who now tells police, show how it's done, and how Home Title Lock could have stopped him. Visit HomeTitleLock.com/radio. HomeTitleLock.com/radio.
Okay, no secret. I talk about this all the time. As a home designer and a builder, when my clients need solar, there's one company that I call, and it's Sunlux. Now, why do I do that? Because I don't need anybody wasting my time or yours with promos or gimmicks or high-pressure sales. What I need is the best solar design, cutting-edge equipment like LG panels, Tesla Powerwall batteries, and most of all, I need service, the best service and the best warranty. You need the best warranty on a system that's going to be on your house for a quarter of a century, right? The best warranty in the business, Sunlux. Other companies sound confident, of course they do. Ask them what they're going to do if the system doesn't always produce the energy that it's designed to. I'll tell you what Sunlux will do. They will pay the difference on your electric bill. That is the Sunlux difference. It's why I always say there are only two kinds of solar companies in Southern California. Sunlux and everyone. So, get solar, start saving money today, call Sunlux. Go to sunlux.com. That's sunlux.com. CSLB 10083.
You've heard it in the news. Inflation is hard. Heating bills are through the roof, and it's cold outside. The Eden Pure Gen 21 heater can keep you warm and save you money right now. The Gen 21 heater has an advanced bladeless fan that heats up to 1,000 square feet of your home. And this heater is guaranteed to provide your family with even, comfortable heat from floor to ceiling, designed with your safety in mind. Its state-of-the-art heating element will not overheat with its built-in safety shutoff, and it comes with a remote control for you. So right now, Eden Pure is giving radio listeners an additional $25 off their lowest sale price. So keep warm, save money, and go to EdenPureDeals.com right now. Use discount code RADIO25 for an additional $25 off the listed price. That's EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code RADIO and the number 25, and shipping is free.
Let's see here. Good times for mac and cheese. With a Wahlburger in there. Cielo for a steak. Gotta grab a boba from Mosin. Pink coffee for dessert. Yep, that settles it. Can't start my diet until 2023. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Big Game Blitz. Watch the big game on big screens in the ballroom. Food, drinks, and giveaways included. Get tickets now.
Number 4.
Celebrate the Lunar New Year with us.
Slender fair skin, dark fingers, sideburns, my hair, and blue eyes. The Irish has firm, serious surface. Presses to young, sometimes TML diet. It's protected.
Game Day Save. Get a room and 2 tickets to the Big Game Blitz for one low
Practice.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good times.
Do you want out of your house for whatever reason? Maybe you're moving or downsizing, there are financial issues, maybe you inherited it.
Selling a home usually means hours of painting and cleaning and staging. But what if you could sell your home for a fair price without any of that hassle? The buyer never had to walk through your home. You could sell it without an appraisal, no commissions, no fees.
What if you could get paid in cash and get it done fast, like in 10 days or less? This is exactly what DirectBuyers.com will do.
DirectBuyers.com is a local family-owned business. They've been around since the mid-'80s. We've talked with the owners, Janet and Matt. Wonderful people. They care about their clients.
You don't want to go to a national call center. These are the people we trust. Do not sell your home until you talk to DirectBuyers.com. See what they can offer you. They will give you an honest, no obligation offer. They can even get you $15,000.
They're not going to lowball you. Go to DirectBuyers.com. DirectBuyers.com. 844-242-SELL. That's 844-242-SELL. DirectBuyers.com.
Hey, it's Zapper Morris. We made the free iHeart app so you can listen to KFI everywhere you bring your phone. But there's
Me, the Robertson.
inside the app like
Listen
Radio
to
App.
Zapper.